everyone, I'm Kamini, founder of bouthat, a forum that talks about all things mental health without any judgment. Joining me today, we have Ramya Vaidya, who is a therapist, sound healer, and a yoga instructor. Hi Ramya.
Hi.
Thanks a lot for joining in today.
Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure by the end of this episode, all of our viewers will have something to take away. So,
yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to be doing this with you. Thank you so much.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
So to start with, can we have a brief introduction about yourself
Sure.
and what led you to therapy?
Okay. So I started off as a yoga therapist. I started off as a yoga instructor, just teaching groups and stuff. And it somehow kind of led into me understanding that a group class may not be a good place for me to kind of understand their bodies. And I started to see that just a simple hour class was not giving them what I thought I would provide. And so then somehow it led to me kind of studying their bodies more, and realizing that there's a lot of stuff that they're not kind of understanding, aware of, or understanding about themselves. They would come to me and say, I'm having a backache. But then no matter what I did with them, the backache wouldn't go, right? And so I kind of got myself into yoga therapy, which is where I realized that, okay, there is a therapy part of it as well. It's not just asana, yada, yada, yada. And then when I started doing yoga therapy as my profession, I realized that, somatic movement helps. But I also realized that there are some times when I just have to stop the session and sit down and just have a conversation with them.
Wow.
Right? So that led me to realizing that, okay, I don't have like the proper counseling tools. So eventually I had to study. So I had to do counseling just so that I know that, okay, if somatic movement is not helping them, the way I'm giving them their diet restrictions or whatever, if it's not healing, maybe talking will help eventually, right? So I had to bring in all of it together, and just that, talking really needed to come into the picture, I realized.
So basically, you wanted to help them even more. That led you to therapy, so to doing more about it, which
In
is
a way.
very nice. That is, I haven't heard somebody say this.
Yeah.
I've met a few people. They said that I got like very random answers, but this is something where you actually wanted to like help, and then you went into.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know that yoga therapy, that thing existed like until now, and I think that's really cool. Moving on a little bit more deeper, what does mental health actually mean to you in terms of in personally or professionally? Like, how do you differentiate it? Like, how do you, like, say for example, counsel yourself like personally, and then how do you professionally handle it? Like, is there a difference, like how that happens?
So mental health, again, because I have come into counseling through yoga, I take a lot of yogic philosophy, psychology into the way I counsel people. So I don't want to be, it's very difficult for me to tell people that I'm a counselor, right? So I have to, when people come to me for a session, my first conference call or a discovery call will be, okay, I'm not a therapist. I'm not like a traditional counselor. A lot of yoga will come into it. Yeah, you don't have to move. But my experiential way of looking at it will be slightly different from what if you have been with a therapist, I'll be different in the way I kind of lead the session or whatever, right? So coming from there, I think for me, mental health primarily starts with how I'm feeling in the body. If something is affecting me mentally, I immediately kind of relate it to the body. Right? If my shoulders are stiff, okay, I'm saying, why my shoulders stiff? Is that giving me grief or tension or stress or whatever? And then I will tackle, okay, why am I stressed out, right? And then I will see, okay, what happened in the day? This is the reason. But even if there is like a sudden stress that has come to me, my first kind of moving back into myself would be through my body. How am I feeling? Okay, am I feeling afraid? Where am I feeling it in my body? And then I will work through that. So that is a very similar way I kind of work with my clients as well. Some people accept it, some people don't. So for those people who don't really want to stay in their bodies, then it's a regular talk therapy. Then you give them your cognitive tools and all of that. Yeah.
Oh wow. When I feel anxiety or when
Yeah.
I feel something, I feel like there is a pit in my stomach,
Yeah.
and I either feel very nauseous,
Yeah.
or like where I cannot eat to an
Yeah.
extent where like nothing gets into, like it doesn't just go down.
Yeah.
So that's how my body functions, and then now I'm aware of it. Before, there was a time where I saw something that I didn't want to see, or when I hear something that I didn't want to hear,
Yeah.
I literally used to puke. Like I literally used to feel
Yeah.
that in my body. I didn't know how to handle that back then, but now I'm like, okay, another one. Now I'm like used to it. Now you see how I handle it. Types.
Yeah.
So
How do you kind of, after puking, what do you do?
at that time, what I did was I puked, and then I was like, oh my god, like it's affecting me this much. Like I was shocked. I was like, maybe I should not let it affect me this much.
Right. Yeah.
But I did let it affect me, and I'm somebody who is a very switch on, switch off kind of a person after all that.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know how to sit and process my emotions, because if I do, then I will lose it.
Go into it.
So so now when I like feel something like very deeply, or when I know, okay, this is going to hit me, I just switch off. I just switch off. Like I don't know how I do that, but I switch off. But I heard that it's not that healthy to do that. But that saves me.
Yeah.
And
of course. Yeah.
yeah.
I know where it might kind of stop you from getting into that zone of, okay, this is too much for me. I may not be able to handle it. Let's just get away from it. Yeah.
Sometimes it gets very
Intense.
too much.
Yeah.
I was very like weirded out by how I was reacting to some stuff. I was like, am
you
I
couldn't
really?
face yourself.
Yeah. And I was embarrassed also.
That's what.
Yeah. So that happened. And more on this topic, like how do you differentiate, like when somebody is stressed, like how do you differentiate, how do they know that, okay, this is turning into anxiety, or this is burnout, or this is just normal stress?
So your regular stresses are basically just the mental and physical reaction to something, right? It could be a fear, it could be sudden shift in something, right? Now that comes and goes, right? You know how to tackle it, you know how to handle it. So that's a regular stress key. Okay, I don't like this. If I may want to move away, I can, and then that's going to be okay. I don't like this person. Suddenly, I don't like this person, so I'm going to take a step back.
I relate.
Yeah.
I suddenly like disassociate
Yes,
from people.
exactly, right? But that again, disassociation will come to that. When does it turn into anxiety? When does it turn into burnout? Again, burnout and anxiety are two completely different. Not different in a way, but if you're looking at it clinically, they're slightly different.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a very general view of it, when it happens repeatedly and you're not able to kind of tackle it, and then again, it gets into your system to a point where puking is happening, or you can't eat well, it's disrupting your day-to-day activities, it could lead to anxiety. Burnout, again, it was a very interesting take that I kind of heard somewhere, and I realized, okay. So if I'm taking my own example, burnout would be mental exhaustion, right, where I'm not thinking properly. Suppose I'm taking a yoga session, if I'm fully burnt out, all my instructions will go haywire, right? But on a long run, you start becoming very cynical about life. You start hating your job or the people that you're dealing with. Everything is negative. You don't want to come out of it. It becomes like a lovely rut that you want to enjoy. You just want to seep into it. That becomes burnout. And physically, you start to notice a lot of changes. You can't sleep well. You can't eat well. All of that. Burnout can be a totally different podcast.
But why do you think people resist to go see a therapist, or why do they delay it until like it's really bad?
Is there a reason why you didn't go?
I kind of didn't feel connected with her, and then I was like, she was not listening to me. And then I'm somebody who expresses in a very complicated way.
Right.
So my way of expressing is not direct. So I thought she will be able to understand me, but then I was like, okay, maybe she didn't get me. And then I was like, maybe I'm way too complicated for anybody to.
Oh, no, I don't think anybody's. Yeah, but yeah.
I was like that, and then after a while, I kind of got used to like the switch on, switch off thing works for me. So whenever I feel like, oh my god, I'm going to, feel a lot right now, I'll just switch off, act like nothing ever happened, and then go about my day, and then slowly I just forget. And then I don't know, there is this thing that I read, something called as you have a lot of trauma that you forget stuff.
Yeah.
That actually I
Suppression,
think
regression,
happened.
yeah.
I don't want to sound like I've been through a lot. Like it's basic, like normal thing.
Yeah.
But then I tend to forget stuff that gave me trauma. Like with any person. Like if you ask me like any memory or something, I think I forgot like most of it. Maybe
Body
because
and mind.
I didn't know how to deal with it, so
Yeah, of
I
course,
kind of like led myself to forget stuff. And I never went to therapy or like anything for this. I kind of handled it by myself.
That's one of the reasons, obviously. You gave me part of the answer. Why do people delay therapy? There are multiple reasons, Hari. Finances is one thing, that's sometimes the most important thing for some people, right? But then this, no matter how forward we've become, there is still the stigma of, okay, I don't want to sound mental to that person. And then the trust issue becomes a huge deal as well, right? What if I go to a therapist and they start judging me? That's like the primary reason why people don't, I mean, in my opinion at least, but that's one of the primary reasons why they don't go to a therapist. And then there are other reasons, just like you said, I'm going to deal with it. I have my best friend, I'll talk to her or him, I'm going to drink it off, or chalo yaar ek smoke kar lete hain. I'm going to drown my sorrows by smoking up or smoking or drinking or whatever, right? Some people use therapy, dance is therapy. So the bottom line of all of this is either they don't have the tools, resources to go to a therapist, and even when they do, the foundational reason would come to, I don't want to face myself eventually. When I'm talking to a therapist, if shit comes out, will I be able to handle it as a client or as somebody who wants to heal, right? So if you peel off all the layers, I think that is one of the reasons why people don't want to go. Because drinking is easier than sitting with my sorrow and grief and dealing with it in front of a therapist, right? Trust is a big thing, and trusting ourselves is always the biggest.
And like facing your
Exactly, yeah.
So I have this thing where I feel like I can handle my personal life, like whatever it is. Like if shit goes to like whatever, I will handle it. But my career is something that is entirely in my hands. And if anything goes wrong with my career, I will lose my shit.
Like,
Like
it's gonna break you.
It will break me because at the end of the day, at this day and age, it's not like how our parents lived at one point. Like right now, you're all you have. And your career is all you have. So for me, and I've been somebody like since I was a kid, I've been like
taking care of yourself.
I've been taking care of myself. I've been buying myself stuff and all that. And then career for me is a very sensitive.
Stop there.
Yeah, it's top. It's not like I don't give importance to other things, but it's just that I know how to handle other things. But I don't know how to handle if my career goes to shit because I have no safety net.
There's no fallback from it.
There's no fallback for me if my career goes. So I get very like worked upon. Moving on, what are some of the mental health habits that you see has helped people in their daily life or going through like any phase?
Yeah, sure. Let me answer a question that to you. What do you do? Besides suppressing and
So what I've lately realized is you should have a passion, like in life.
Okay.
Like you should either every day, apart from your work, apart from talking to your friends or your boyfriend or whoever, you need to have a passion.
Yeah, sure.
So that's helped me. So I've recently like started learning kuchipudi.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, let me learn something, let me do something different that will keep me occupied, that I'll wake up to every day to do something.
Yeah.
So I think for me, some habits is like trying something new, like learning something, being passionate about something else,
Yeah.
other than what is giving you anxiety. Like,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, your partner or like your friend is giving you anxiety, and then you're like completely in
Yeah.
their thoughts. Like, you're, what do I do? This happened, that happened. So if you have some passion that you can, like, you know, you can reflect or like take your energy towards that,
Yeah.
that will help you, and then that will give you some kind of. So that's what I've been doing lately, and I've to an extent where I'm like, I'm going to wake up, kuchipudi, then tennis, then I'll go Zumba, then in the evening I'll do this. So I have my day planned.
Yeah.
So that is what I plan to do.
Yeah.
So I think finding your passion and finding a hobby, I think helped me.
Perfect. I mean, that was one of the reasons. I mean, that would have been one of the reasons I would have given you as well. So I think the easiest one to pick up would be take a walk. It's as simple as that. Because when you do this on a regular basis, even though you have a lot of pent up energy because of anxiety or because of stress or whatever, walking is like the easiest way you can get it out of your system, right? And then, of course, movement helps, any kind of movement. Walking is one, it's one of my favorites. But dancing, yoga, Zumba, anything that kind of moves the energy through the system and then it comes out of you in some form or the other, and you're tired in a healthier way, right? That's one thing.
Physically tired.
Physically tired, so that you sleep well. When you sleep well, you're going to eat healthy, right? So it's a loop. It's a good healthy loop, right? Another one, there are regular ones that you hear. You can do journaling. I wouldn't call journaling, but start writing something. You know, even if it is like 3 sentences a day of how you felt, right, during the day, or 3 sentences a day to see how you would want your day to look like. Right? As simple as that. That gives you a basic goal in your life. कि भैया मैंने लिख लिया, चलो, let me try to achieve it. Right? So in case there is a stressor that is jumping into your system, you can go back to that list. Okay, I know this is happening, but this was the goal. Can I at least reach there? And needing to, like your passion, right? Needing to reach that solution will kind of make you work through that stressor. There are other things, talking to your friends. You know, a good friend will really kind of just take everything away from whatever pain you have, right? If you have that one person you can depend on and you can whine and vent, and you know, and that one person that doesn't judge you, if you can trust her, throw it out to her or him or whatever. And then community, I think, is very important. Hanging out with like-minded people, just having your tribe. I know that's very difficult in today's day and age, but if you can find your tribe, I think, you know, it takes a village to build a village, right? It takes a village to heal somebody. So yeah, find your village is what I would say. But walk, eat healthy. I mean, I know mental health is not related. People don't understand how good nutrition is important, right? We'll talk about it later if a chance comes. But eat healthy, sleep on time. Those are your good mental health habits. Yeah.
When I go for a walk, so I have this habit of talking to myself out loud. So I'm walking, I'm like, why did this happen to me? This, that, and then I talk loudly, and then I'm like, this happened, this, that. And then people around me go,
what's wrong with this person?
You? Like literally, in my office, I sit and I work. Even when I work, I talk to myself and I talk to myself loudly. I was like, why did this happen? So this should go here or there. And then suddenly one guy from I was like, Hari,
are you okay?
Are you okay? Like you're talking to yourself.
Do you have another person next to you that I can't see?
Yeah, but that's how I function. Like I talk my not obviously when everybody is there, but when I know there's no one, it's like I really talk to myself, and I'm like, God, you did this to me, how could you do this to me? So I go into another zone, and then in the end I make fun of it. I make fun of my situation, and then I'm like, okay, another thing, like now I'm used to it, now I can handle it, now whatever, it's
I
done.
can move on.
It's so at this point in my life, I'm actually expecting the worst, and I don't know, this is so crazy. Like whenever I do something, anything in life, a day before or a week before, like some or the other thing will happen
Shit hits
that will
the
disrupt that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And it happens to everything. Like I'm like, God, give me a break. At least like
Yeah,
for few
of
things,
course,
like
yeah.
select few things. And then I don't really understand if I'm manifesting that to happen, because in my head I'm
because you're
like,
stressed out.
it's going to happen, or is that my life pattern? Like I don't really get it.
Yeah, for me, what you do, for me, it's in my car. I drive a lot every day. So for me, I have an imaginary friend who's sitting next to me, and I have a conversation with that person. And that conversation really helps me into getting out of that loop or mental negative loop that I'm doing. And then by the time I'm out of the car, I'm back to sanity again. Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, it does. Oh, it so does. Yeah.
Moving on, how do you know if somebody's healing or actually suppressing their emotions? Like me, as I don't know if I'm healing or like suppressing, but you know, somebody suppresses their emotions and we tend to assume that they are healing.
They're done. Yeah.
So how do you navigate that situation?
I think people will not like the answer, but you have to sit with those emotions. And if you are able to feel the feelings and not run away from them, and then you are courageous enough to sit with that grief, loss, relationship, whatever, sit with that one thought, ki bhaiya, I was betrayed, right? Instead of running away from that, instead of like finding distractions instantly. If something is coming to you and you're picking up the phone to doom scroll, right? And if you're doing that, you're obviously suppressing your emotion. I'm just giving you a very basic answer here.
I did that the other day, so I know.
Right? Yeah. Or people think reading is a good habit, but a lot of us read because we don't want to tackle our emotions, that all the shit that we have to.
Did that too.
Yeah. Right? So it's one of the good habits that's screwing up your real authentic healing that should happen is not happening. So the moment you accept that I have lost such and such, for whatever reason, right? I've lost this opportunity or whatever. If you can sit with it, sit with the pain, right? It's very important. I know it's like the most difficult thing to do, but the moment you breathe into it and the moment you kind of, okay, Ramya, I understand that you're going through it. I'm there for you, right? Let's sit through this. Let's hear it out. Let's air the pain a little bit instead of just stuffing it in. You're on the path of healing. It's as real as that. It's as simple as that. I know it's not going to be liked by a lot of people, but you have to do it. Like, if you don't listen to yourself, if you don't listen to the pain, it'll become like that big boiling ball of, and it's going to explode at one point, right? And there's so much deeper reasoning to why you have to listen to it, especially if you're a woman. It's mind-blowing when people kind of suppress it and then it comes back at a later age. I mean,
I heard that women tend to suppress and then some autoimmune stuff.
I mean, there are autoimmune diseases that crop up. There is, menopausal issues come into the picture very, very early on in a woman's life if she has constantly been pushing what she's not supposed to be pushing, right? Hormonal imbalances, all your PCODs, PCOS, migraines, you name it. The deeper reason is you suppressing or not handling the situation. I understand that, society is treating us in a certain way and you can't, it's easy to sit here and talk about it and say, please attack your emotions because they're attacking you, but there are times you cannot, right? A society is like pushing you down. You can't show your anger. Come on, be a coy girl, be a docile girl. How can you show your anger? And the anger is pushed down, and then you're 35, 36, and it's just bursting at the seams, and then you're married, you have a kid, and you're shouting at the kid, and all of that shit is coming out, and this time, what's wrong with me? The relationships are being screwed up because you're not handling your emotional dumping that you're doing in the core, right? Yeah.
Now that we are on that topic,
Yeah.
relationships, like why do you think romantic partners bring out the deepest insecurities in each other? Do you think there is a reason why they do that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think it's not just romantic relationships. Let's pick a friendship, right? If I wanted to become your best friend, you will have to trust me with your deepest issues,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I will give you those opportunities. And then you will begin to trust me.
Yeah.
But there is a fear in you. What if she walks away from me? You know? And she doesn't have to walk away because you have had a fight. She can move away to another city and you don't have her. Right? So, leading that into a romantic relationship, they become your whole and soul. They become your life for some reason. Because you are,
Dependent.
finally,
Yeah, you trust someone.
Yeah, finally, you can give yourself to
Yeah.
somebody, and suddenly there's that love. And the honeymoon period is so sweet because she, whoever is like showing all the affection and all the love, and you're like, oh my god, finally I
Yeah.
found somebody and I can trust him or her, right? And there comes a point where you start questioning, is this all real? And that is this all real is where the question begins. That is when insecurities come in, right? Okay, maybe I shouldn't be dependent on this person as much, right? But
That doesn't happen.
too crazy in love, or we're too in love with a friend or whatever, right? I mean, that is how relationships are. You just put all your worth into them,
Yeah.
right? And that's where insecurity, I mean, that's where this kind of weans out or into how relationships are
So
treated.
it comes from the fear of losing them?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
also it comes from a fear of losing yourself as well.
Okay.
Because you're suddenly, there is no way your body chemicals are saying, trust him, it's okay. Right? And again, hormones come into the picture. I know chemicals, you're not supposed to talk about all of that, but it does, you suddenly, your oxytocin is so high, right? Because you're suddenly feeling so much of emotion, so much of love for that person, that it's coursing through your system, right? And pick another hormone, serotonin is coursing through your system, your happy hormones are there. And you're like, okay, let me give in to this, let me surrender. And that surrender is very difficult, right? And there is no option but to surrender. And you're like, your body is like, okay, I'm going to love this person forever and ever. But the mind is like, your cognition is like, no, please stop. That is why the confusion, and that's why it's difficult. Yeah. I hope I've answered the question.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
And is that a reason why people feel anxious when things go right in a relationship finally? Like, let's say they've been to a lot of past trauma,
Yeah.
and then in the current relationship, if
Yeah.
things are going fine, or like, there is a probability that things are repeating,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh my god, is this
Yeah.
person gonna do the same thing? Or like, how do they like get out of that?
Yeah, it is the fear of losing this golden opportunity that has fallen into your lap, right? The what if is so huge, right? Because we enjoy being in that negative loop, right? And the brain keeps throwing that drama at you. Oh, he's going to leave you and go. Oh, what if this doesn't work? Oh my God, is it too good to be true. Right? Yeah. So I think as humans, we have kind of picked up on the negatives, right? And that's how millennia of human beings have kind of walked into it saying, बुरा तो होने ही वाला है.
Yeah.
Right?
बुरा तो होने ही वाला है.
हाँ. That's how we stick to it. कुछ अच्छा हो गया तो oh my god ऐसे कैसे हो गया? How can I? But
let me not feel so happy about it that I jinx it.
Yeah. But the core reason here is how secure you are with yourself. Right? If you are completely in love with yourself and completely secure with yourself, even if that relationship gets lost in the way, you won't feel that afraid. Every time something like that happens, you can always tell yourself, I have myself, right? I have my community, right? So then you don't give that kind of power to that relation, to whatever, right? And then the fear can come away from you. So to answer your question of how to get away from that, I think find yourself first and make sure that you know that you're worthy enough for yourself, so that the other person also knows that, the other person is constantly showing you love, and you can't take that.
Yeah,
Right?
I have that.
Yeah. Right? And why do you not take it? Because somewhere deep down you don't love yourself, you don't feel worthy enough to receive that love, right? And there is that fear of he's going to walk away or she's going to walk away, doesn't matter, right? That happens with parents, that happens with empty nesters, that happens with regular romantic relationships, that happens with friendships, it happens in the job as well. Oh my
Yeah.
god, everything is going right.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
People are going to see the true me, and they're going to throw me out of the company, right? So yeah, just flows through.
On that note, can we truly move on from someone who did not actually give us the closure, or we did not get a closure?
Yeah.
So for me, so what I've done recently was I started ghosting people because I was like, I can't explain myself more.
Yeah.
And you can't keep reaching out to me after I've told you like what was on my mind. I was like, ghosting is much easier. So whenever my parents find a guy for me, like in this arranged marriage setting, it's so tiring. Like you'd have to talk to people. I don't know why, but everybody who talks to me in an arranged marriage setting end up talking to me for like 2 hours or something, and then I hear this dialogue saying, I haven't spoken to anybody for this long. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm not your free therapist.
Yeah, and then we end up talking a lot, and then it drains me like completely. And then I'm like, in the end I'm like, okay, it's not gonna work out or whatever, and then I'll be like, hey, it's not gonna work out. I'll tell my dad.
Yeah.
And then they'll get back, and then I'm like, I've already explained it to you over a call. You yourself said we spoke for like 2.5 hours. Now I can't explain more than this. So I started ghosting, and then I started liking that experience of like ghosting people, because it's so easy than to like explain, which is wrong maybe. But after I've explained you multiple times, I don't have the energy to like keep doing it again and again.
So I think I'll treat this from both ends so that you will understand, and this is something that I'm also dealing with, right? And I am somebody who needs clear communication. I don't think this friendship is working, Ramya, let's separate ways, right? Let's part ways. Or I don't think this collaboration is working, let's part ways. So I need to hear those clear words coming from somebody. So for people like me, and there are people who love having a closure, and I'm just giving you again one example: grief, loss. There's such huge things, right? People suddenly losing somebody to death or whatever, and they've not seen that person. Imagine there's no closure. How do they deal with that? We'll get to that. But from your point of view, when somebody has explained it to me, if I don't have the mental capacity or intelligence to understand that person, that dude, I'm done. Let's not get back into that conversation again. Let's just part ways. And yet they keep coming back to you, then you're fine. Right? Because you've explained yourself, right? So it's their emotional intelligence or their cognitive ability to receive that. You don't have to be kind of dependent or responsible if they don't understand it, right? So I think if you have explained yourself very clearly, then you're off the hook, right? But for some, coming back to people like us who don't receive it, right? Okay, I call myself emotionally intelligent, right? I will want to hear somebody saying, this is too much for me, I don't think I can handle it, let's part ways. If the opposite person receives it, well and good, and they're secure enough to not to crawl back into the other person's life, well and good. But if you don't get closure, right? Okay, before this, my friend and I were having this discussion, and he said something so golden. I said, I have to repeat this here. He says, closure should come with FAQs and a helpline. Right? I was like, bang on, dude. Like, it should. But yeah, when you don't get it, what do? I think it's the hardest to cope with.
Yeah.
Let's just put it right there.
Yeah.
It's not easy to move on when a person hasn't responded to your verbal, non-verbal cues of them being dependent on you. Yeah. So I'm going to take a little time with this
Sure,
because
sure.
it is a very important topic, I feel, in today's generation, because people are just walking out left, right, and center, out of relationships, out of marriages, out of anything for that matter, right? For people who just walk away without, I'm not like, you have explained yourself to this boy, right? And your responsibility is done and dusted. But there are people who don't. Just rip the band-aid off and walk away, right? Imagine the wound that you're opening up for the other person. So don't be irresponsible. Like, if you're the person walking away, please hold yourself responsible and make sure that that person is told. Be brave enough. Let's just be honest here. But if you're not, if you don't have the guts, for whatever reason, again, there's no judgment here, the opposite person, make sure you sit with your feelings, right? Understand that the person will never come back saying, I'm going to walk away, or I apologize that I walked away from the situation, right? That may never ever happen.
Accept that
Immediately, right? Wait for a while, no response, no texts, right? And then it doesn't come. Don't be after that person. Don't keep in there. I mean, don't be visible to them constantly to a point where they get tired of you and they don't even have the desire to come back, even if they want to come back. That's primary. Accept it so that you don't like emotionally depend on them. Very hard. Again, all of this that I'm saying is going to be very hard to tackle and follow. But sit with it. And the second one would be to kind of forgive yourself, because there will be a constant desire to go back to that person, right? And every time you cross that boundary, you're hurting yourself, and somewhere deep down you know that you're hurting yourself, and the regret will make you feel shitty. And so as soon as you can, I mean, as quickly as you can kind of forgive yourself, it'll become a little easier to forgive that person as well. It's the other way around as well. They've walked away. Please let them go. Forgive them. Work on yourself. Start the real healing work, right? Accept the feelings, sit with the feelings, cry your heart out, whatever you need to do. Don't get into drinking or whatever, please. But, find a friend. Tell that friend that, dude, you're the only person I can depend on right now, and I will be eating into your time and into your system, into your energy. Please hold space for me. That communication becomes important, because that person is ghosted you. Don't dump your emotional baggage onto the other person who's giving you that space. Inform that person. And this is relationships. Same goes for deaths. Same goes for divorces, right? I think death is the deepest hurt you can feel when you have not seen that person pass away. It's very, very important that you kind of, at least in my experience of handling different people around the world, if you don't see that person take their last breath in front of you, it's just going to stay, and there's so much of guilt, there's so much of regret that stays with you. So that's where I think those are some of the places where you immediately want to get either counseling or a therapist, because grief staying with you is going to like really hinder your growth physically, psychologically, mentally. You're just going to be stuck in the rut. So seek help immediately if you haven't had that closure, right? And then that help is going to give you an idea of how to cope with that grief or loss or whatever. If you can't, these are the steps. Accept it right away. That person's not going to come back, no matter what you do, right? Feel the feelings, sit with that grief, sit with that loss, sit with that pain, in real ways. Don't get addicted to something. I know it's easy to say, but deaths are I wouldn't say the biggest kind of reasons for addiction, but it's up there,
Okay.
right? So that, and accept that that betrayal is real, no matter how good that person is or whatever. Just in relationships, understand that that betrayal is felt.
Yeah.
It is real for you.
Yeah.
So name that emotion, right? Name that emotion, see it, work through it. There, if you suppress your emotion,
Yeah.
I think the real damage happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Closure is like, oh, I mean, it's the hugest topic in the current world, because dating apps, you know,
Yeah.
you like somebody, you're dependent, you immediately depend on them, and then this person is just,
Yeah, after first date, and then they
Yeah,
don't hear,
like-
and then one person is waiting.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah. So I think be secure in yourself that
Yeah.
you know that shit might happen.
Yeah.
So again, yeah,
Just be okay with it working out and not
Yeah,
working out
yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
But then where do you draw the line of like really fighting for the person that you love? Like, you know, it's like, am I like the other person might feel like why isn't she fighting for me, or why isn't he fighting for me?
Yeah.
Like I just said I don't want you, and then she walked away, and then those kind of conversations I have heard, and then I'm like, but this is what has happened. Like how
Yeah.
do you to what extent do you not prove your love to someone? Like, and if there is a if the, constantly you are having to prove your love by not taking their closure, or like going behind them saying, hey, I can't live without you, let's fight for it, or like whatever. So
Yeah. So here, I think you need to take into consideration a lot of things. Why is that man or woman or whoever, when you've been clear, why is that man wanting you to prove it? Right? There's clear communication that has already happened, right? How much more can you prove your love, right?
yeah.
So the proving of love again is a huge
It's another-
discussion.
yeah.
Yeah, it's another podcast in itself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think I'll come to this point now, wherein going back to the self-love. So the reason they keep asking you to prove your love to them is because they're not secure within themselves. They need to keep receiving it from an external human being, an outsider, right? So I don't say the fault is with them or the fault is with you. The fault is with how you've kind of,
Feel about yourself,
and
the,
also everything else, the way you've been brought up,
yeah,
right? If you were not given enough love, I mean, again, I'm just touching the surface here,
yeah,
right? There is that childhood trauma right there, right? And you keep seeking that love that a parent hasn't given you in
Everybody else.
yeah, especially in your romantic relationships, because suddenly there's a human being who can take care of you, right?
Yeah.
And then finally you can be a child again,
yeah,
right? All the love that you didn't receive back then, this man looks like he's capable of giving that to you, and then you want to become a child again,
yeah,
right? And that is where the real terror is. So be secure, work on yourself constantly, so that when a person walks away or when a person is clear, right, you can work on yourself. So to answer how much or to what level do I prove my love because they're asking for it, you have to draw a line where you realize that that is draining my energy, right? Because I love you, right? Be it a friend or whatever, I care for you, I look out for you, but I don't have to continuously prove
Prove it.
that. Like every day, I love you, good morning. I mean, grow up. But the growing up has to happen from all those layers, right? People, when they say grow up, they're like triggering a lot of shit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So be compassionate toward that person and say, I love you, dude, but I don't have the capacity to continuously show that to you because I'm also a human being here, right? I'm also I have as many faults as you have. So please accept me where I am and receive what I can give you. Again, communication is very, very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And a damaged human being will continue to do it.
Yeah.
But a regular human being will understand, right? This is where your disorders will come in, your trauma will come in, and you'll probably have to go to a therapist or a counselor or, do ayahuasca. I don't know. But you need to tackle it in some way, right? So, a lot of disorders are treated as regular shit. I'm going to deal with it. But if you're not catching the symptoms, and then if you're not like kind of understanding that, oh, maybe I need to see why this is happening over dependency
Yeah.
sometimes is your general anxiety disorder or your deep depression or your avoidant nature or your 100 things that I can come up with, very similar symptoms. But if you think you're normal, then you will kind of understand that this is where I draw my line, take it or leave it, right? And then you compassionately explain it to them. See me as well, right? Yeah.
On that note, is it okay to like be friends with your ex? Like, at what level is that healthy? Like, is it okay that they're talking, they're like on a daily basis, or like they're like talking to each other maybe like once a month? Is that okay?
Again, there are multiple answers to this, but what do you think?
If you are single, then do what you. So the thing that I follow is be in touch until you no longer want to be in touch.
Right. Interesting. Yeah.
So, I'm like, we've been together for a while. Now we are not together. I'm not dealing with this shit alone.
Absolutely.
Okay? You're dealing it with me.
Yes.
So, until I'm no longer like wanting to hear from you, I will leave you.
Yeah.
Until I heal, like until I'm okay with it. Okay. My parents are watching this, not that I had a boyfriend or something, or I have one, but just saying it generally.
Yeah.
So, if you have like a boyfriend currently, and if you still are in touch with your ex, then that is a no. Like, of course, I don't want somebody that I'm in love with to talk to his ex.
Yeah.
So if you are in a relationship, then no.
Yeah.
If you've just come out of a relationship, and then depends on how it ended also. Like if it ended on a really bad note, then why would you even want to see that person's face?
Right. Yeah.
But if it ended on like not very properly, like you didn't get the closure, then maybe go back, come back, get your closure, and then one day you're like, you get that ick. Like one fine day you get that ick, you're like, did he really say that? You get that ick and you're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I think take your time.
Yeah.
But it depends on how it ended also.
Right.
And if you are in a relationship currently as well. If you're in a relationship, though, it's a no-brainer.
100%.
You don't have to be in touch.
You picked on very important aspects there. First is make sure you've healed yourself, right? Make sure you found your closure, right? So those are the two important things. How secure are you with yourself, right? How comfortable are you in your skin when you see your ex? Do you still have feelings, right? If you still have your feelings and you are in a relationship, you may want to take a step back and kind of go back to it, like you said, right? But if there is a clarity between you and the other person who's your ex, you still are in a relationship, everybody's at that secure level where everybody knows themselves and everybody loves themselves to a point where if you are talking to your ex, your boyfriend doesn't feel betrayed, then you're in that
secure
ideal,
which doesn't exist.
It does.
Okay,
I mean, in my long life, I've seen exes come back and be beautiful friends, right? There have been relationships. It'll happen, right? Because over a period of time, both of you have grown, right? You may have left each other, you may have gotten, into another relationship, you've grown in this relationship, they've grown in their relationship. And so when you meet, and this is, of course, if you've not been in touch with them and then you suddenly meet and you realize that, okay, I don't have those feelings for him, I can still be friends with him, Done, great. But again, even when you've broken a relationship, say 2 months ago, and you've gotten into a new relationship, please don't.
Yeah.
That would be like a rebound.
Yeah.
Right? Take time.
Yeah.
Don't get into another relationship, first of all. If you've broken up, that is where damage is happening.
Yeah. And you're damaging the other person.
Other person as well. All three of you are in a rut, right? So please don't do that to begin with.
Yeah.
But you feel like you've moved away from that person, yeah? In your head, you're like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm chill, I can still talk to that person. And you get into this relationship because you feel secure. Continue to watch yourself. How am I feeling toward this person? There is emotional cheating, right? Right? Because you will constantly keep talking to this person saying he's just a good friend, right? But you have those leftover feelings for them. So that is when be real, be true to yourself and say, bro, like, what are you doing? Right? On the other side of it, emotional cheating and is such an interesting dilemma to be in, right? Because this is where confusion comes. He has that capacity to be a really good friend, right? So if you lose touch with him, that friendship is going to go away, right? So where do you then find a balance? That is where you need to sit with yourself. How much of myself can I give into this ex relationship to be friends with them, that it's not going to kind of take away my autonomy of understanding and being in this relationship fully. So there's a lot of back and forth that you need to do. There's a lot of conversation that you need to have with yourself, and of course be graceful enough to have the current relationship in the picture. Don't say no completely to the ex because you're in this relationship. He may be like the best friend you have, right? So don't say no, but don't cross that friendship into having feelings for them. If you start to have re-feelings for them, then it's time to walk away.
Okay.
Right? Is that clear?
Yeah. Maybe I'll think this way like after a little.
After a bit, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
No, what I mean was like after like I get that much emotional like maturity, because right now like all of us like our age group, like for us being friends with an ex is like a big no.
Yeah, it's a big
it's a no. Like no matter what, like it's not gonna happen. Like okay, you stalk, you have your fun or whatever, but being friends or like even like
of course,
that thought only like gives me the ick.
Jitters,
So that is where most of me and my friends are at. So maybe like when after like I think that takes a lot of emotional maturity to like be okay to again get somebody back into your life that didn't want you or that hurt you or like damaged you in a way. And then I for no way would want that to like impact my current relationship. Like that is done. Like I want this person to be as secure as possible.
True. Understood. But that was my first sentence. Therefore, like heal yourself. Find your closure first. If you have not found it, if you have not healed, then it's a big no, right?
That is true.
But having said that, don't give up on an opportunity is what I'm saying. Right?
That could be a beautiful
exactly.
no baggage kind of thing.
Coming from a life experience is what I'm saying, right? Because I've seen enough, and I do understand where you're coming from. But I mean, 10 years down the line, if you find that man and you're like, okay, it's all clear, he's all out of my system, and he can be good friends with me. Don't let it go because you're like, oh my god, what if?
So, moving on to marriages and relationships, staying in the topic. Like how can two people grow individually together without growing apart? Like after you've been in a relationship for like 5-6 years or like in a marriage,
it gets boring.
It gets boring and you kind of tend to want to do sometimes things like alone, or you want to like find your time or something. So how can two people find each other, like go their do their separate things
be separate,
without
but also
actually
have-
growing apart?
Yeah. I think set a foundation right away. Right? Marriages are considered to be blending. Right? That's like the worst way of looking at it. But that's how society has brought us into it. Yeah. You and that goes for every relationship, not just marriage, but marriage has high stakes, right? So I think first of all, getting into a marriage is a big deal,
Yeah.
right? And I think we had that conversation. There was one time.
Yeah.
So do you really want to? I mean, ask yourself the question 1 million times: Is this going to work till death do us apart? Am I going to be okay staying with this person day in and day out, right? And be okay with all of their quirks, all of their faults, right? And then decide. So take your own sweet time to first decide to marry. Don't even think about marriage unless you feel extremely okay with it. That's one. That's for today's generation. But for people who've already been married and or in a relationship, doesn't matter whether it's a marriage, things will start things will start to get boring or routine, right? They will not hinder your relationship if you've kind of laid a foundation. I am my own individual. I am going to be doing these things, right? If you have an issue, don't be in a relationship. Work through it, right? But you can't lose yourself in a marriage or in a relationship.
Yeah.
We've discussed that before.
Yeah.
Right? That's the tenet of
Yeah.
being in a marriage. Don't lose yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be individuals working parallelly, but also connecting at some times.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have to take a vacation without him, tell him, I love you, and therefore I want to take a break.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you will survive it. Thanks.
Now, ending the entire conversation, what is the one myth about mental health that you want to bust, like to the viewers? And what are some mental health tools that you think that can help them?
The biggest one is that I can tackle it. I can go to my best friend and she is going to take care of the problem. Right? That is hindering you from realizing, in case there is a disorder, you're not reaching to that conclusion. So the myth is I can help myself or my people I know, because the professional knows what she's doing, right? So the professional will tell you what is going wrong, at least. So even if you get that diagnosis and then go to your friend, that's still okay, right? At least reach a professional before you start self-therapizing yourself, right?
Which I do.
Yeah, so that is a myth, huge myth. It's stopping even the fact that we think mental health is, if you go to a therapist, you're mad, right? That is coming away. People are reaching out to therapists, but there's still huge lack of understanding that, I do need to reach out to a therapist. So that's one thing I would love to bust if I could, yeah.
And any mental health tool that you think works? Like you said, journaling.
Yeah.
So I think wrapping it up,
Yeah.
journaling, finding a hobby.
Yeah. For me, it would be writing.
Journaling.
Yeah, journaling. Yeah. And I know it is difficult for a lot of people, but for me, talking to the person in the mirror, right? I think that's a largest tool, because you can't hide away from that person in the mirror, right? So yeah, that is one tool. Writing. What else? Breathing techniques, walking.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can get into. But yeah, these are the primary ones. Sit with yourself. Listen to your body. I think that's one thing. It's hard to do, but constantly hear what your body is trying to say. That is a tool in itself to give you an idea of where you're going with that situation. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that was a wonderful note to
Thank
end the
you.
conversation on.
Yeah.
And thanks a lot for being a
Yeah.
part of this conversation. I've really loved it, and I'm pretty sure whoever has watched it will have so many takeaways. And it was lovely talking to you. And all the best. Like I'm like
Thank
really,
you so
really
very
happy.